Hi everybody, welcome to another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well. It's an overcast day here in Surrey, but I'm joined by three experts today who are hopefully going to brighten my day up as we're going to be talking about closed container integrity testing. And I'm joined today by PTI's Joerg, Reinecke, I hopefully got that right, Regional Sales Director for EMEA, and IPP's Tim Commane, who is the Life Science Manager, and Steve Gruar, who is the UK Sales Manager for Life Sciences. And they're all smiling because I've been practicing their name before we started doing this. So, gentlemen, I hope you're all well. It's lovely to see you all.
Thanks very much.
You as well.
Great. And you're all calling in from different parts of Europe today. So, Tim, you're calling in from Ireland. Which part of Ireland are you calling in from?
I'm down in the south, down in Cork. We have a tropical condition in Ireland today, which is 10 degrees. There's people outside making way to beaches. It's so warm at 10 degrees.
And Steve, where are you calling in from?
I'm based down in Reading.
So not as exotic as Cork, that it has to be said.
No, and the weather is to match as well. It's going for a nice rainy weekend, so the pub trips are going to be slightly ruined, I think.
Oh dear. And where are you calling in from?
Yeah, I'm joining from northern Germany, close to Bremen, and the weather here is quite similar to your weather in London.
See, there you go, viewers. When you sign up for Chats with Chaudhry, not only do you get some really fantastic information across life science, you also get the weather forecast from all parts of the world. So thank you for joining me, gentlemen. It's lovely to see you. So before we start talking about closed or CCIT, I'll call it, rather than closed container integrity testing, was a bit of a mouthful there. Perhaps you can tell me a little bit about your respective companies and about your own backgrounds as well. Just a very quick overview though. So Tim, would you like to start?
Sure. I work as the Life Science Manager for IPP. So that's basically providing technical support and project guidance for the pharmaceutical and the medical device sector in the UK and Ireland. In terms of IPP is a technical distributor of equipment into the pharmaceutical, medical device, and also the electronics industry. We have 40 years experience, servicing the needs of high-end, high-tech manufacturing companies. We have two facilities. We have one here in Cork, and we have another facility in Bromsgrove in the UK. Primarily, we consist of probably a team of field engineers that are out on the road, kind of servicing equipment and providing technical support, project support to, at this stage, probably in the region of maybe 400 companies across the UK and Ireland.
Brilliant. And Steve, your role at IPP?
So I joined back in September as the UK sales manager for England, Wales, Scotland, working with Tim over in the UK on life sciences.
Fantastic. And your role and a little bit about PTI, but obviously keep it quite short.
Yeah, I try my best for this one. I'm sales director here for PTI in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and PTI is a company since more than 35 years in container closure integrity. We're absolute specialists and have various technologies to provide to the market. And I'm there to support our distributors and agents the best I can.
Thank you very much for that, Joerg. And thank you for picking up on me getting it the wrong way around the initials. So there you go. So
welcome.
Right. So let's talk about what is the relationship with IPP and PTI?
Well, we've been quite privileged, really. We've had a very successful partnership with PTI going back over, I think it's 12 years at this stage. I'd say there's many people in both companies that the relationship predates. I suppose over those years, PTI provides the support to IPP and, more importantly, I suppose, to our clients as well. I suppose helping them and us to understand and navigate changes in container closure integrity requirements. So we've always been able to constantly rely on PTI really for not just their technical resources and their expertise, but with their production facility that they have based over in New York, we can rely on them for test method development, and I suppose they are the engineering support behind our engagements with our clients and servicing our clients.
Fantastic. So let's talk about some of the issues and trends that within CCIT, which have affected your customers over the last few years? Because obviously I've done interviews in the past with PTI, and we've talked about what's happening in the predominantly North America and also across Europe. But I mean, if we look at Ireland and the UK, what are the sort of issues that you commonly get from your customers, and what are the trends that you've seen, Tim?
I suppose we would see a lot of the trends reflected, particularly in Ireland and in the UK, because I think a lot of the companies that we deal with and that we work with would have a parent company or a sister company over in the UK. So much of what we see tends to get replicated, and it goes in a two-way street. Probably the biggest trend, though, that we've seen in more recent times would be this escalation in the drive towards improving quality. Yeah, that's the big driver now in every plant that you go into. I suppose it's quality of manufacturing, quality of packaging, and also driving, and specifically for us, the test methods then that assure that quality. I suppose there's always been this push-pull dynamic between equipment providers and manufacturers. You know, I suppose in the start of when I started in this industry, maybe 12 years ago, it was very much that we were trying to lead, you know, saying that this technology was available, this solution was available. Perhaps you should look at deterministic methods. Perhaps you should look at better quality. Whereas I suppose now it's almost the other way around. Now the client has become the driver. It's that goal for better and better quality systems that constantly drives, I suppose, us to constantly delivering more sophisticated or sensitive equipment. So yeah, I suppose we've gone from trying to encourage the customer as a pull factor to now the customer is driving us in a push factor.
And because obviously Ireland has become a bit of a hub for life science, have you seen things change a lot in terms of the areas where people are looking for quality? Because I know a lot of biologics moved into Ireland as well. So have you seen a shift then in terms of the areas that you're getting requests for?
It has, I suppose, down through the years. Traditionally, Ireland would have been an API manufacturing plant, so we would have manufactured bulk. If you look at the big companies that are, I suppose, almost within eyeshot here of my window, you know, it's companies that are manufacturing bulk API. And over the years, first we developed into, I suppose, a biotech producing country in the pharmaceutical side of things. Yep. And then particularly more probably in the last decade, it's been a huge expansion in medical devices. And again, that has impacted, I suppose, where the trends go in terms of container closure integrity inspection, because it's a different section of the life cycle of the product. So going from manufacturing bulk to now having more end product, more fill finish, more packaging. Here you're seeing a different end of the spectrum. You know, I suppose particularly over the last couple of years, I think it's more so what we're seeing now is again the same questions are coming up, the same drives and the same trends towards quality control.
Fantastic. Steve, what about in the UK? I mean, is it a different situation in the UK, or is it very similar to Ireland?
I think it does sort of mirror what's going on in Ireland in many ways. I mean, as far as trends go, it's no longer sort of the norm to rely on subjective methods and relying on close monitoring of the testing and the performance quality of the operator, and deterministic methods are what are coming into play to sort of take subjectivity out of the equation when doing these tests. So now the industry is focused on getting clear number sort of data-based approaches in place, so that deterministic data is what's absolutely key, and sort of the quality used to be the judgment of, well, was it leaking? It used to be sort of simply just asked, sort of, is it leaking? But now that needs to be quantified, whereas before, well, sometimes it's not necessarily the case. So yeah, we're seeing that quite a consistent trend in a move towards 100% inspection. So people used to see these machines that do this deterministic testing, such as high voltage leak detection machines and vacuum decay as examples. People used to see those as offline laboratory sampling process machines, whereas now, after years of implementing that technology and building up those new data sets, that quantitative data, people are starting to see the value behind it as a way to actually improve the quality of packaging, which is keeping up with the what the regulations are guiding them towards. So yeah, the trend is not to increase the level of, it is to increase the level of CCIT inspection.
Right. George, as I've got you here, and you're obviously covering Europe. So, I mean, does Europe differ greatly to what's just been said about Ireland or UK, or is Europe a similar situation at the moment?
In the moment, it's quite similar, but not everywhere. We see areas like UK and Ireland. They are, I don't know, rating on the high end of the economical scale. We have other areas in Europe, and we must be honest enough to say the equipment we are providing is high end and sometimes also high priced equipment. It seems not for everybody, although the trend is clearly there, right? There is this probabilistic test method is around, and we see it, and companies are using it to a great extent. But for new upcoming projects, it seems many companies are looking towards deterministic container closure integrity solutions, and this is what we provide.
Fantastic. All right. So let's talk about some of the common or current problems that your customers come to you with then. So who would like to start and sort of share some of the common problems that people have come to you with?
Well, I suppose from my perspective, what I would see, like there isn't a week goes by where someone doesn't engage with the issue of understanding or interpreting regulatory guidance. Right. So I think that's still probably the biggest challenge that a lot of the clients that I deal with have. The regulatory guidance has expanded hugely over the years, but it's designed, and I suppose it's aimed, like USP and FDA is aimed at such a huge industry, from manufacturing tablets through to, I suppose, manufacturing implantable devices, and trying to cover such a wide industry with such a broad sweeping set of guidance often leaves, I suppose, the client then trying to understand, well, how do I apply that to my specific product or process or what I'm doing? And I think that, well, for me, that's still probably the biggest challenge. It's strange that over the years, we've kind of gone from, I suppose, a scenario where, you know, traditionally a client would come to you and say, I need such and such a machine, and it needs to produce so many widgets a minute, and, you know, it needs to be this big, and I need to get it for this budget. And you would go away and try find that. Whereas now, I suppose our engagement is starting much earlier. It's more about trying to help the client arrive at that stage, trying to help the client, I suppose, understand from the very outset what it is they want to achieve, and then help them interpret that guidance.
What about you, Steve? George, anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's similar to sort of Tim, really, in that it's finding out what the guidelines mean to them, and then and understanding how to implement the new technology in order to give them these results. So deterministic methods allow for sort of a more in-depth, calibratable, validatable test methodology, which people aren't necessarily used to having to go into in as much depth. So we try and help them understand how to put those processes in place, and then how to understand the data and then improve their packaging processes. And we start with, as sort of Tim alluded to, we're starting from people right at the start of the process, where they're coming up with a new concept for a new drug or something like that. And at that point, they have to start thinking about those later stages of when they're starting to package it. Well, what tests are we going to need to implement to make sure this is okay? And to what extent do we need to test this? Because it might just be a product that they just need to worry about. Is a defect going to be big enough for that product to leak out? That's our problem. right down to people who need to be checking for the tiniest details to make sure that the sterility of that product is kept in check. So yeah, I think the main challenge for people is going right from that R&D sort of stage right through to production, is understanding what they need to do with their product in terms of testing.
What about you? Any sort of common problems that are coming to you at this moment in time?
My comment is Tim and Stephen have explained it very well. Our biggest fun every day, every week is to get in touch with clients from pharmaceutical industry that is long existing, and the basic question to answer is what is deterministic CCIT? So what does it mean when you relate this to USB 1207? So which ASTM methods apply and so on. These are the basics, and based on our experience and knowledge, we try our best to educate the industry a little bit, that they find their pairs, and we help them to guide the way a little bit. What they are looking for is validatable solutions. What we feel a little bit, the clients are looking for a reliable partner. And since we are such a long time in this industry, and we are positioned as experts for CCR leak detections, I believe we are one of the great sources.
Well, that leads nicely on actually to my next question, which is, you talked about, trying to help them with their different problems, and you've got lots of technology. So what technologies are out there? And, maybe you can talk about that, and what sort of issues and trends do they help meet?
Yeah, the technologies PTI is providing is vacuum decay. The platform is called Veripack. The ASTM method F2338-09 has been developed on PTI Veripack systems. The technology is constantly improving. The latest and greatest system came out last year. This is a Veripack 465. It has a sensitivity to a submicron level, and it's a very robust and reliable system. This is the latest and greatest for R&D laboratories or anybody who simply wants to get the best solution that is available in the market. Beside that, there is microcurrent HVLD. Microcurrent HVLD has advantages above standard HVLD. PTI is currently providing lab and benchtop solutions with regards to microcurrent HVLD, and we have started an attempt to automate this technology. Beside that, we have the so-called ABUS technology, airborne ultrasound. This is an airborne coupled ultrasound for seal inspection. And by the end of last year, PTI has taken over the company LDA, Leak Detection Associates. They are in helium leak detection.
Right, okay. But you've gone through the different solutions, but they're for different types of packaging. So what sort of packagings are they more applicable for? Because they're all different, more relevant for different types of packaging, aren't they?
Yeah, I suppose that's actually one of the challenges always that the client faces, that there's no one fit all. Even you could even have a situation where you have one product, but depending on what stage of the life cycle you're at, and that's part of that consultative process. It's understanding, helping the customer to understand that not just what's suitable for their product, but also what's suitable for the various stages of their life cycle. So, for example, you could take something like a vial. At a product development phase, you might want to test that to the nth degree. So you might use helium leak detection. Then when that comes to in-process development and in production, again, you're onto primary packaging. So you might look at high voltage leak detection if it's a liquid. Then you might put that into a pouch. and seal it up, and you might use a seal sensor. You might use acoustics to look at the image on the seal, or it could go into a packet, and you might use vacuum decay to test it. So it is fair to say that there's no one size fits all, and it's very much about finding what suits the need of the product.
It's very bespoke, right? So if people want to get more information, where can they get more information about the technologies, and obviously getting more advice on, for their particular problems and issues that they face?
Well, if for any people based in the UK or Ireland, you can come to ourselves at IPP, www.ippgrouplimited.com. I suppose, as I said, we view ourselves as being here, not just to offer products, but to offer solutions, offer advice, offer help getting you through your journey.
Right. And Joerg, for Europe, for PTI,
it's quite simple. It's ptiusa.com, or even better, CCIT.com.
Fantastic. Well,
You
gentlemen,
find.
no, what were you going to say? George, I just stopped you there. My mistake.
No, please go ahead.
Right. What I was going to say was sort of sum up and say thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking the time to talk to me today. It is a very interesting topic because it's applicable to everything that we use within life science, and it's very important to make sure that there is, container closure integrity. So it's very, very important to, as a method and technology. So if people would like to know more, please check out the websites. They will be above the video. So if you're in UK and Ireland, you can check out the IPP website. If you're in Europe, you can check out the CCIT website. And if you're in the US, you can check out the PTI one, or you can check them all out anyway if you want. They'll all be there for you to have a look at. So gentlemen, thank you very much. I know it's a Friday and you're looking forward to the weekend because the pubs are opening. So I will let you count the hours away until you can do that. So thank you very much. It's lovely to see you all again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you all for watching. Until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.